This story begins in a picturesque lakeside mansion, nestled in the quiet community of Falls City, Washington. A place where the Humiston family appeared to live the dream. Their $2 million home radiated warmth and stability, filled with the laughter of 5 children, the love of 2 dedicated parents, and the promise of a bright future. But in the early hours of October 21st, 2024, that dream turned into a nightmare. A single gunshot shattered the silence, setting off a chain of events that would leave 5 family members dead and a town reeling in disbelief. By dawn, the once idyllic home had become the site of one of the most chilling family massacres in modern history. The lone survivor, an 11-year-old girl, endured the unimaginable, playing dead to escape her brother's calculated wrath, and living to expose a horrifying truth. The alleged killer? Her 15-year-old brother, who calmly dialed 911 to weave a web of lies, pointing the blame at someone who could no longer defend themselves. But what could drive a teenager to orchestrate such a betrayal? And what dark secrets were hidden behind the Humiston family's perfect facade? This isn't just a story of heartbreak and survival. It's a chilling look into the depths of resentment and human betrayal. Stay with us as we unravel the haunting tale of the Humiston family tragedy, where bravery met unimaginable horror and the truth struggled to surface. The Humiston family embodied the American dream. Mark, 43, a dedicated electrical engineer, and Sarah, 42, a former nurse turned homeschooling mom, created a nurturing environment for their 5 children in their serene $2 million lakeside mansion in Falls City, Washington. The children, Andrew, 15, Benjamin, 13, sister, let's call her Hope, 11, Joshua, 9, and Catherine, 7, were known for their bright spirits and politeness. Mark's career provided financial security, allowing Sarah to focus on their education and values. The family was active in the community, attending events and connecting with neighbors who admired their warmth and unity. Yet, beneath the idyllic surface, tensions brewed. Andrew, the eldest, struggled with academics and grew increasingly withdrawn. His parents, while loving, held high expectations, which Andrew perceived as oppressive. By October 20th, 2024, the family's life seemed ordinary, but within Andrew, a dark storm was about to erupt, shattering their world forever. Andrew Humiston's struggles had been building quietly but steadily. Once a curious and engaged child, the 15-year-old had grown distant, failing academically and retreating into isolation. Mark and Sarah, while loving and supportive, maintained high expectations. For Andrew, their guidance felt like constant criticism, fueling a growing sense of resentment. The tension came to a head weeks before the tragedy, when Sarah caught Andrew viewing inappropriate content online. Confronted by his parents, Andrew reacted with anger and humiliation. Instead of reconciling, he withdrew further, harboring a deep-seated belief that his parents and siblings were against him. Investigators later found chilling evidence of Andrew's state of mind. Internet searches revealed a fascination with crime scenes and planning, including how to stage a murder-suicide. He knew where his father's Glock pistol was kept, and was the only child with access to the lockbox. What started as frustration had turned into a sinister resolve to silence the pain he blamed on his family. On the night of October 20th, 2024, everything seemed normal. The younger children played and laughed before going to bed, and Mark and Sarah retired early. But Andrew stayed awake, finalizing a plan that would forever change the lives of everyone in the household, and leave an entire community in shock. In the stillness of the early morning hours, on October 21st, 2024, the Humiston home turned into a scene of unimaginable horror. At approximately 4:30 a.m., Andrew unlocked the family's Glock pistol, his movements methodical and determined. He moved first to the basement, where Mark, his father, had fallen asleep on the couch. The first shot shattered the silence, striking Mark in the shoulder. Startled, Mark tried to rise, but 2 more bullets hit him in the back. Fatally wounded, he collapsed at the base of the stairs. Andrew fired a final shot into his neck, ensuring no chance of survival. Nearby, 9-year-old Joshua and 7-year-old Catherine were caught in the chaos. Catherine, frozen in fear, was shot in the head, dying instantly. Joshua, groggy from sleep, met the same fate with a single shot to the forehead. Upstairs, Sarah, awakened by the noise, locked herself in the master bathroom, desperate for refuge. But Andrew was relentless. He forced the door open and confronted his terrified mother. 2 close-range shots ended her life, leaving her crumpled near the bathtub. In another room, 11-year-old Hope was sharing a bunk bed with her sister Catherine. Hearing the chaos, Hope peeked out into the hallway, only to see her father and siblings lifeless. Moments later, Andrew entered her room. Hope froze as he raised the gun and fired twice. One bullet grazed her neck, and the other shattered her hand. Drawing on sheer survival instinct, Hope collapsed onto her bed, pretending to be dead. Andrew, believing his grim task complete, left the room. Seizing the moment, Hope crawled to the fire escape window, pushed herself through it, and ran barefoot to a neighbor's house, leaving a trail of blood behind her. As dawn broke over Fall City, the Humiston home stood in eerie silence. Inside, 5 family members lay dead. Outside, Hope's courage and quick thinking ensured that the truth of that night would eventually come to light. If you're finding this story captivating, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more gripping true crime content. Your support means a lot. Thank you. At 4:55 a.m., Andrew dialed 911. His voice was calm, yet his story was chilling. He claimed that his younger brother Benjamin had killed their family before turning the gun on himself. Andrew described hiding in fear for his life, portraying himself as the sole survivor of a murder-suicide. Just minutes later, another 911 call came through, this time from 11-year-old Hope, who had escaped to a neighbor's house. Bleeding from her neck and hand, she pleaded for help, revealing a starkly different story. "My brother Andrew killed my family," she told the dispatcher, her voice steady despite the terror she had just endured. Police arrived at the Humiston home to find Andrew waiting calmly in the driveway. He appeared cooperative, repeating his fabricated story with unnerving composure. Inside, the mansion had transformed into a scene of unimaginable horror. The bodies of Mark, Sarah, Joshua, and Catherine lay in different parts of the house, all showing signs of execution-style killings. Benjamin's body was staged with a gun placed in his hand, an attempt to frame him as the perpetrator. Meanwhile, paramedics rushed Hope to the hospital, where her injuries were treated. Her account of the events, combined with the inconsistencies in Andrew's story, began to unravel the horrifying truth. The once idyllic mansion had become a house of horrors, and the small community of Fall City awoke to a tragedy that would haunt them forever. The investigation into one of the most chilling family murders in recent history was just beginning. The investigation quickly exposed the cracks in Andrew's fabricated story. Forensic analysts found that the Glock pistol placed in Benjamin's hand was spotless, devoid of the gunpowder residue or fingerprints that would have been present if he had fired it. The trajectory of Benjamin's gunshot wounds also proved they were inflicted from angles impossible for self-infliction. These discrepancies immediately discredited Andrew's claim of a murder-suicide. The turning point came with Hope's testimony. From her hospital bed, the 11-year-old provided a chilling account. She described waking to gunshots and seeing her father and siblings lying motionless in the hallway. She recalled how Andrew entered her room and fired twice, striking her neck and shattering her hand. Her decision to play dead saved her life, as Andrew left the room, believing she was no longer a threat. Hope also revealed how Andrew methodically checked each family member to ensure they were dead before staging the scene to frame Benjamin. Her bravery in recounting these events left no doubt about who was responsible. Adding to the damning evidence, investigators uncovered Andrew's disturbing online search history, which included terms like how to stage a murder-suicide and gunshot wound ballistics. They also found detailed notes mapping out the family's home and sleeping arrangements. With Hope's testimony and the forensic evidence aligned, Andrew's web of lies collapsed. The image of a grieving survivor shattered, replaced by the cold reality of a calculated killer. Unraveling Andrew's motive revealed a troubling picture of resentment and psychological turmoil. As the eldest sibling, he bore the weight of his parents' high expectations. Mark and Sarah were devoted to their children's success, homeschooling them to provide a tailored education. But for Andrew, this structured environment felt suffocating. While his siblings thrived, his academic performance plummeted, and his frustration festered into anger. Family conflicts compounded the tension. A recent incident where Sarah confronted Andrew over inappropriate online behavior left him humiliated. Instead of accepting responsibility, he withdrew further, seeing his parents as adversaries. To Andrew, every scolding and comparison to his siblings reinforced a belief that he was unloved and unwanted. Psychologists suggested that Andrew's growing isolation, combined with untreated emotional struggles, created a dangerous mix of resentment and rebellion. The lack of external support systems due to homeschooling likely exacerbated his feelings of entrapment. Experts speculated that Andrew viewed his family as the source of his failures, and that eliminating them was his twisted path to freedom. Andrew's motive wasn't a sudden burst of anger, but the result of years of internalized frustration and unaddressed psychological issues. His crime was a horrifying manifestation of a mind unraveling under pressure, leaving a once loving family shattered and a community grappling with unanswerable questions.
Every day, yeah. I just couldn't believe it. One thing after another and learning more. And it's very sad. I need some answers. Why would this happen? Why did this happen here? We will come together and we'll get all through it together. And if there's something we can do to help, then we will. It would be good for me to go.
If you're still with us, make sure to like and subscribe to keep up with more shocking true crime stories. Your support helps us bring these stories to light. Don't miss out on what's next. The legal aftermath of the Humiston tragedy became a focal point for national attention. Andrew, charged with 5 counts of first-degree aggravated murder and 1 count of attempted murder, faced the possibility of being tried as an adult. Prosecutors argued that the calculated and premeditated nature of his actions justified adult charges, emphasizing his online searches, staging of the crime scene, and attempts to frame his younger brother. The defense countered by highlighting Andrew's age, lack of prior criminal history, and possible undiagnosed mental health issues. They argued for rehabilitation over punishment, suggesting that the pressures he faced as the eldest child in a strict household contributed to his emotional breakdown. Psychological evaluations became central to the case, as experts debated whether Andrew fully understood the consequences of his actions. Meanwhile, Falls City, a close-knit suburban community, struggled to process the horror that had unfolded in its midst. The Humiston family had been well regarded. Mark and Sarah were seen as devoted parents, and their children were known for their politeness and charm. The massacre shattered the illusion of safety in the idyllic lakeside neighborhood, leaving residents grappling with grief and disbelief. Vigils were held to honor the lives lost. The community came together to mourn Mark's dedication as a father, Sarah's nurturing spirit, and the bright futures of their younger children. Hope, the lone survivor, became a symbol of resilience, inspiring admiration for her bravery in escaping and recounting the horrors she witnessed. The case sparked larger conversations about mental health and family dynamics. Neighbors reflected on whether signs of Andrew's struggles were missed, and the tragedy underscored the importance of addressing emotional and psychological issues in teenagers. While the trial moved forward, the community vowed to honor the victims by fostering greater awareness and support for struggling youth. The courtroom proceedings promised to be long and complex, with debates over justice, accountability, and the balance between punishment and rehabilitation. The next court hearing, scheduled for June 2025, would determine whether Andrew would be tried as a juvenile or an adult, a decision that could drastically alter the trajectory of his life and the outcome of the case. The Humiston family tragedy is a chilling reminder of how hidden pain and unchecked emotions can lead to devastating outcomes. What began as a seemingly ordinary night in Falls City unraveled into an unimaginable nightmare, leaving a family shattered and a community in mourning. This case forces us to confront difficult questions. How could a young boy like Andrew descend into such darkness? Could anyone have noticed the warning signs or intervened in time to prevent the tragedy? And what does justice look like for a teenager who committed such heinous acts? Hope, the sole survivor, represents a beacon of resilience amidst this heartbreak. Her courage in escaping and providing a testimony that unraveled Andrew's lies ensured that the truth would not be buried. While her journey to healing will be long, her bravery offers hope that even in the darkest moments, strength can prevail. For the community of Falls City, this tragedy has left a lasting scar, but it has also ignited conversations about the importance of mental health awareness, family support, and recognizing the struggles young people may face. It serves as a stark reminder that behind closed doors, even the most idyllic-seeming families may be battling unseen storms. What could drive a teenager to commit such unthinkable acts against his own family? Was it the weight of expectations, untreated psychological struggles, or a deeper, more sinister motive? And how do we ensure justice for such a horrific crime while addressing the broader issues that may have led to it? We invite you to share your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think justice should look like in this case? And how can we, as a society, work to prevent tragedies like this from happening in the future? Thank you for joining us in uncovering the chilling details of this case. If this story has left you disturbed or reflective, please share your thoughts and reflections. Remember to like, subscribe, and stay with us as we continue to explore the stories that reveal the darkest sides of human behavior. Together, we keep these lessons alive, ensuring the voices of victims are never forgotten. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe or follow.